Good morning and welcome to Math with Mr. W. And we're continuing our discussion of geometry today, but we're talking about two specific two-dimensional figures, a square and a circle. And what's really important is that they have terminology that goes with both of them, and you need, as teachers, to make sure that the students get the correct terminology and the relationships between certain things within those figures. So let's start with the square. It's the easiest one to understand. And you'll note, and you can ask your students, what does a square have? And they'll tell you, it has sides. It has sides. Sure it does. How many does it have? It has 4 sides. Great, it has 4 sides. What else does it have? It has 4 angles. That's right, it has 4 angles. So we have 4 sides and 4 angles, and the sides are all the same. The angles are all the same. And we also have this right here, and that's the diagonal of your square. So we have a diagonal of the square. Now, we also have something that we can talk about later called the area of the square. But the other thing is the perimeter. The perimeter, the sum of the 4 sides. So we have to add up the 4 sides and we get the perimeter. That's the sum of the edges. So that's a length. That's one-dimensional. Area is 2-dimensional, but length is 1-dimensional. It's just 1 dimension. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. That's all it does. 2-dimensional, 1 goes back and forth, but it also goes up and down. So it's got 2 dimensions. A circle has 2 dimensions because it goes this way as well as this way. So now let's talk about the words of a circle. A circle has a center. Some students may say, what's wrong with the word middle? Well, you might want to use it, but it's wrong. Refer to it as the center. And it's a center point. And there's an infinite number of points the same distance away from this point on a flat surface. That's a circle. I just used another word, infinite. And I will get to the word infinite in my next discussion. But now let's talk further about a circle. Center, how far is it from the center to the circle itself? Well, it's always the same, and it's called the radius of my circle. R-A-D-I-U-S. It's the radius of my circle. So we have to know that's called the radius. Now, the length all the way across the circle is the diameter of the circle. Now, a circle is not like a square. It doesn't have sides. It has a circumference. A circumference. We know these words, and we should use them correctly when we're talking to our students. Now, here's the key that I think we could also ask our students. There is a direct relationship between the circumference, call it big C, and the diameter of my circle. So there's something about the diameter. Archimedes spent a lot of his life trying to figure this out. The Chinese had 500 years, they claimed the right answer for this. Newton and Leibniz, when they discussed the calculus, actually had finally gotten to it. So I'll give you those as hints. You already know what the answer is. You can ask your students to try and figure out what is it that we have to multiply the diameter by to get the circumference. And they can use things, they can make circles with the compasses, or they can make circles with things that are round. Then they can draw a diameter, and then they can take a string and measure how big the string is in relationship to the diameter and see how much you have to maybe multiply. How much bigger it is. Maybe they can figure out some kind of relationship. This is at the end of their second grade. And what we're trying to do here is leading them into multiplication, which is going to be happening in the third grade. So if they can see maybe it's around 3, it's a little bit bigger than 3. If they can start to see that, then now they're starting to really become mathematicians. And it becomes fun. They've got a project and they're enjoying the idea of learning how to become a mathematician, the same way Archimedes did a long, long time ago. All right, folks. I hope you have a great year. And I hope you come back and see me again on Math with Mr. W.